Hey guys, Coach Science here with Atomic Athlete. I want to talk about rope climbing. Now there's lots of ways to climb a rope, and I've tried most of them. Every single way I've found besides this method that we teach here in our gym has usually a big downside to it. And so this is the way we teach our athletes in the gym. We feel it's the most effective way to actually climb a rope, and it's also the most efficient way. Okay? The first thing I want you guys to learn is how to properly lock off on the rope. So when we lock off on the rope, what we want to do is transition all the weight of our body into our feet and take that weight off of our hands. You should actually be able to let go of the rope with one hand when you're properly locked off. So we're going to go ahead and zoom the camera in on my feet, and the idea is I'm basically going to bring up one foot and I'm going to pull the rope across the opposite foot. So it's going to look like this. Okay? Now once I'm locked off, I can actually let go with one hand. It's a fairly comfortable position. If you notice my feet, they're stacked. And the key point here is that the outside edge of this right foot, all right, is actually biting down into the rope. Some athletes end up in a position like this, which is not a strong position. Put your foot in a vulnerable position. Once you actually rolled out, using that outside edge of the foot as a little biting point into that rope. So a lot of times with my new athletes who are first learning how to climb a rope, what I'll have them do is actually come over to the rope in between sets, and they simply practice that lock off between 3 and 5 times. All right, I don't really want them going all the way to the top of the rope until they've mastered that technique. So it's a great way to learn the lock off. All right, now we want to talk about actually going up the rope. It's 3 phases. The first one's going to be reach. I reach with my hands. Second one's going to be a lift. I lift with my legs, lock off, and then I stand up using my legs. Okay? The lock off, once again, you have one hand free, you're in a strong position because all the weight is in my feet. And the same thing, I walk my hands up, reach, lift, stand. Walk the hands, lift, stand, and touch the top. Okay, so we know how to lock off, we know how to get to the top of the rope, now we need to come down the rope. And one of my favorite things about this type of climbing is there's no adjustment in the feet. With the traditional military, like leg wrap technique, once you get to the top, you have to unwrap and then readjust your feet to come back down the rope. With this technique, you don't have to do that. All you have to do is slightly spread your feet apart and you'll come down the rope walking the hands one over another. So it'll look just like this right here. Remember, we're gonna reach, lift, stand, reach, lift, stand, go all the way to the top. Once we get in this position right here, I basically spread my feet slightly apart, come hand over hand. The further my feet are apart, the faster I'll go, and the closer they are apart, the slower I'll go. So it really depends on how fast you want to come down. Now when I say spread my feet, we're only talking about 1 inch, all right? 2 inches would be a wide spread, and your rate of descent will be much faster. Nope. All right, so one of the things we see with new athletes is that even if they use this technique, they actually get a little bit of a rope burn on their shin. And you don't need to put socks on, you don't need to put pants on. All we have to do is slightly adjust our body position in relation to the rope, and we'll actually get a good, clean descent. So a correct position is gonna look like this right here. Go ahead and zoom in on my feet, Kara. So if you notice in this position, the rope's not in contact with my shin, although it's still load bearing. I'm doing this one-handed. All right, an incorrect position would be here. The rope's directly underneath my center of mass, and it's in contact with my shin. So all you have to do is simply push the feet out in front of you, and you're still in an effective climbing position. If I have the rope directly underneath me, I'm going to be in contact with it, and it's going to leave a rope burn on my shin. All right, so that's how you climb up and down a rope. A few things to consider is the type of footwear you use. A good sturdy pair of shoes is going to work much better than a very soft-soled tennis shoe. Ropes can really eat up a shoe. If you use something like a Nike Free, I climbed a rope one time with those, and the little treads actually ripped right off the first time. And luckily I was able to return them. So something like a Salomon, a light hiker, any type of sturdy gym shoe, Olympic shoes actually work really, really good for climbing ropes because they have a really, really hard sole. Something else to think about, if your hands are sweaty, make sure you chalk up before you go up the rope. Certain ropes have a little more texture than others. A manila rope like this is much easier to climb than a nylon rope. The final thing is never drop off a rope. If you look down right here on the ground, most ropes have a little bit of coil at the bottom. And a lot of times athletes will get tired, they'll be in a rush, they'll come down off the bottom of that rope and land on that. You can twist an ankle or actually break an ankle in that manner. So always stay safe when you climb rope, guys.